Good evening, everybody. It is Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. West Coast time, although we'll get to that in a second. It's slightly different today. You are watching this. This is a pre-recorded stream this week. Life gets busy at times, and so sometimes we can't do it live, although our aim always is to do it live. Either way, you're still going to get a nice half hour of fun chatting with James and myself. James, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing on your side?
I'm doing all right. I'm working, staying busy, and otherwise, yeah, just keep on keeping on, as the saying goes. But James, you are not at your home right now. You are actually one time zone east of California,
Yeah,
visiting family, I think.
yeah, I'm visiting folks, and so I am live on location in the great state of Utah,
There
hanging
you
out with
go.
my family and
There you
just doing
go.
that stuff.
But because our priorities are always to our fans in the cartoon, the work never stops, even if we can't do it live sometimes. So what are we talking about today, James?
I will present the screen, and we will get started on that.
All
So
right.
here, I will share screen, share, and I think we're good, right?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay. Um, where it was. Okay, so this is okay. Well, first of all, you're seeing the Blender environment.
Okay. Oh, so this is
Um,
Blender. Okay, so this is a new app here then. Okay, so oh
yeah,
wow. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Those cubes look like they're 3D.
yes, you are correct. They're 3D. I'm kind of I don't know if I've mentioned this on live streams or not, but Eric, I know you've heard me talk about this before in our meetings, but I've been
Yeah.
wanting to incorporate more 3D work into our first episode of Calamity Jane. And so I've been kind of playing around with Blender, um, mainly just to kind of get my feet wet and kind of
Mhm.
feel somewhat familiar with how best we could use a 3D environment to kind of help our very lean operation and production pipeline going forward. So I've got to
Mhm.
figure out how to do tune shading first of all, and then do a little bit of really low poly modeling as well. But all that's technical stuff we can talk about later. For the most part, right now, what we're talking about today, I thought I had this queued up, is this shot here.
Yeah, I just want to focus on the sexy stuff. I don't care about all you geek nerd technical jargon.
Yeah. So this I am trying to give us this shot here,
Yeah. Yeah,
where
yeah.
Calamity Jane and Tinsel zoom through town.
A good
So,
establishing shot of Dry Gulp
yeah,
Gorge. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we have her zoom by this thing, and this I'm tempted to kind of do in 3D as well, but that's a whole thing. We're talking about this shot here.
Right. Right, which
Uh,
I think is super valuable, especially given that, we are relatively particular about the geography of the town in terms of where things are located. So, if you can produce a 3D version of Dry Gulp Gorge, it makes it a lot easier for us to set up shots, actually.
yeah,
Um, in 2D, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2D, anytime you want to do a new camera angle, the world has to be drawn for that. And
yeah,
so you have to be really cognizant of what your camera angles are if you're going to hand draw all the backgrounds. But if it's 3D, then it gives you the freedom to basically put the camera wherever you want it.
exactly. And on top of that, then you don't have to once you quote unquote draw that house in 3D, you can rotate it and draw it anytime, any which way you want after that, and never have to
Right.
worry about drawing it ever again. So I'm trying to future proof our production to where I just have a kind of a library of assets set up in Adobe Animate
Mm-hmm.
for character work. But for backgrounds, I kind of want to do. I don't want to have my brain redo a lot of backgrounds for building stuff like that we've already talked about, and then I have to keep drawing different angles, slightly at this angle or another angle. I want to just do one shot of a build. Like I want to just design the building once, and
Mm-hmm.
then just rotate it in 3D space, and then tunify it. So the tunify recipes, again, that's another whole other technical thing for now. But for today, all we're going to talk about is just blocking,
Right.
blocking out this scene in 3D space. So
Okay.
right here, as you can see, I have this rectangular object that is actually Calamity Jane
Mm-hmm.
and Tinsel driving through town.
I
And actually,
appreciate I appreciate you took the time to make it purple.
yeah, yeah,
I would have been completely lost if that was some other color.
yeah. That was definitely a purpose. I wanted to, yeah, just to make sure she needs purple.
You know me. I mean, I'm visual, and if that was like chartreuse or seafoam, I don't think I would have been able to follow it.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's just one piece of splotch of color that tells me, yep, that needs to be worked on even more. So it's there. It's just gonna keep bugging me until I get to
Your work is never done.
Yeah, but I guess I'll scrub through this so you can kind of see this rectangular box is what the camera is actually going to see for the shot.
So that's your view frustrum.
That's my view, and you'll see that I've animated the camera and Tinsel and Calamity going through town, and this is what it looks like right now. Like
oh wow! Okay.
And it pulls out like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I've already kind of changed the shot a little bit. I remember, Eric, I think we talked about this before, and you had a suggestion where you actually wanted to kind of, you thought it would be a nice to have if we could, like, play with the camera a little bit in this shot and kind of, tell me, am I remembering correctly? Like, wasn't that something we talked about? Where you wanted to kind of see the town kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as much as you can get a sense of the geography of Dry Gulp Gorge, I say go for it. Because, again, in this episode, we actually do get taken through most of it. I mean, Dry Gulp Gorge is a small place. It's got Main Street and then a single cross street, at the end of which is on one end of it is Mitchell's house. And so if we can establish very early on what that town geography looks like, it will actually help audiences when Calamity takes that turn later on, and she gets, the audience will see where she's going.
Yeah, exactly. I just I want to have it in my head. Certain landmarks for us, like you're just saying, like Mitchell's house at the end of this street or this end of this path. For example, the John Boy's, as of from last week's French cuisine restaurants right across the street from there.
That's right.
With all that being said, I am going to break this camera view so we can kind of look at the scene in 3D a little bit more. Hang on a sec here.
Okay. And by the way, for fans, if you go back and rewatch some of the older episodes, in the episode we were talking about Dry Gulp Gorge and sort of it being a character, we take a look at a hand-drawn map that James and I put together, and you can see that for a very long time we've known exactly how we want the town laid out. So we actually do show off that map in a previous episode. Check that out.
Let's see here. Yeah, so see these buildings here, Eric, on this side of town? These are all placeholder for right now.
What? Those aren't final?
Yeah, believe it or not. But yeah, these buildings are all placeholder.
Oh, wow.
Right. Let's say, okay, we have planned to go through town. You and I are going to talk about this here.
Okay.
Is this enough length of a strip for town to actually put Mitchell's house right here where Mouse is at right here? And would you feel comfortable with that? Or do you think we should just imply that there's just a bunch of houses here and then we just cut to the next shot? Which I can show you here. See, we can imply there's just a bunch. Like, the town is pretty big. We don't see Mitchell's house at all in this shot.
Right.
But then when we cut to the next shot, here it is.
There's a prickly pear, right?
Yeah, here's prickly pear here. So we don't have to. How literal do we want to be? And I'm asking this question out loud because I don't know how far we want to take it, because there's going to be. I like the fact that we have like these nondescript kind of just Western style houses here, to imply that the town is bigger than it is, or do we want more of a small town feel? But if we do a small town feel, that means that every house has to be very distinct and have a purpose. Whereas if you don't do that, you can kind of get away with anonymity with each house.
So it's easy for me to say this because I don't have to do any of the art. I just get to make you do it. But I think that we know that Dry Gulp Gorge is a small town. And, going back to the map that we talked about, we've already defined a bunch of them. We know where the sheriff's office is. We know where the bank is. We know where the prickly pear is. We know where John Boy's is, Mitchell's house. I think that it's a lot of upfront work, admittedly, but the payoff is much bigger because even though the sheriff's office we might not see for the first 5 episodes, it's there and it's done. And then you don't have to do that work later on. And in fact, you know, I think that establishing that Dry Gulp Gorge is a small town, because it is the right way to go. Having a
So
bunch of generic buildings is
yeah,
fine. It definitely is less work, but yeah. Is it though? I guess now that I'm speaking out loud, one way or the other, you have to make generic buildings.
yes, that's. I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's almost like we need to kind of. We've had our map, and maybe Eric. I don't know. I think I have here somewhere.
I'd have
Um,
to. I would have to. I think
yeah,
you have it. I think it's on your.
it has to be here somewhere.
Since I'm sharing the screen, I don't want to like
Yeah, I guess
confuse
it.
the audience members of me
Let's
rooting
see.
around in my directory structure.
Here it is.
There it is, right there. Look at that. Wow.
We did an episode on this
Yeah,
actually.
we did. Yeah, people, longtime fans have already seen this map. They're getting a refresh.
Like,
We're giving them a pass by not making them go look it up again.
so,
But yeah,
so here we are. I'm making the assumption Tinsel and Clowney are entering from here, and they're going to drive up, and then Mitchell's house is here on the left side,
you know,
and so that means the French cuisine is going to be here, and then we have a road going back
right,
out to the
right.
valley here. So I could be literal with this, and I could put the sheriff's house here, put the post office here, town hall here, John Boy here. Well, though, see, we have Mitchell and John Boy here, but is John Boy across the street? At least in the
Well, no,
story.
John Boy's is down here because Prickly Pear is midway up Main Street, and then John Boy's is across the street, and then Mitchell's is farther up Main Street, and then to the left down the side street.
So okay, so here's a side. So it looks like we have a side street here.
We have there you go. Yeah, that's right.
So this John Boy house. Are we saying is going to go up here?
Yeah, Mitchell runs up, or
Yeah,
rather, yeah, Calamity follows the Warhog up to the intersection. Wait. Oh, wait, what?
I'm trying to get my bearings here because
What?
if
I don't
if
remember saying we were going to move John Boy's house, actually.
so, like in the storyboard though, we have we have Calamity enter into Mitchell's. Well, actually, you know what? I'm getting confused here. Mitchell's house is one thing, and Prickly Pear is another thing.
Yeah.
So, no, that's my bad.
No
So,
worries, no worries.
So, Mitchell's house here. Okay, so Prickly Pear is here. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay, that's right. Now, I was putting both of them together. I thought
This is
yeah,
Well, I just want to stop and say this is for everybody who wants to go make a cartoon or make something. This
yeah.
right here is the reason why you draw things, why you put things down, because you will not keep everything in your head. You will never remember everything. And so having just something that you can refer to is great. And I do the same thing with my writing, and I don't know that we've actually shared it. Maybe it's something for a future topic, but there's an entire series Bible that we have that has bios for every character, and gives character motivation. Sometimes we even have plot arcs. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you're an artist, a writer, or what. Archiving your thoughts, making sure you can go back and reference them, is critical.
So with this being said, I'm actually going to use this as a blueprint to kind of design our layout in Blender.
For sure.
I'm going to start out with the bank and the mayor's house across the street. So if I go back to Blender, so let's pretend that's the bank.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to duplicate that guy and then make sure it's on the x-axis. And now we have the bank across the street. I'm going to scale it down a little bit.
Well, which direction is Calamity traveling?
She's traveling this way.
Okay, and the bank is down at the south end of town.
Yeah, so let's go back.
Right. It's
The bank and the mayor's house.
That's right. It's the sheriff, or no, it's the right. Okay, there you go. Okay, great.
So yeah, so we have the bank and mayor's house here. Bank, mayor's house. So the next one's going to be the sheriff's house right here. And I will go on the x-axis for that. No, I will go on the y-axis for that. And sure, I'll just shrink it down a little bit.
Yeah, but the bank, of course, is going to be bigger than the sheriff's department because
Of course,
the fat cats.
Already kind of implying certain things in life, I guess. With that, so yeah, the sheriff's house, post office is over here. Do we have that? We kind of have something as a post office. It's not perfect, but we've got something. Now we have this generic house here, but let me make sure. post office, bank, mayor's house,
We have
sheriff,
town hall will be a big one.
town hall. Okay, so town hall will be next. Okay, so let's do
And
that.
yeah, and we don't, town hall doesn't have to be right next to the post office, but sort of in the order of things, right?
Should we make the town hall big?
I don't know. I feel like the town hall will be a place that we go to because of characters like Big City Lawyer, and anything like that. Because and I'm this is a little bit of an inside scoop for anybody who's watching, but all of the Big City Lawyer episodes will take place in a courtroom, right? And so having that be a significant location, I think that makes sense.
So okay, so wait, I just realized I was putting the bank in the wrong spot. I'm just looking at it in two different ways here. But the bank's on the one side, and the mayor's house. This is the mayor's house
That's
right
the
here.
mayor's house, yeah, yeah.
Um, I could, and again, I'm not going to get too caught up in the weeds with this with blocks, but okay, with town hall, this guy I think I'm going to just delete
Okay.
just so we can have just the basic layout here. So we have bank, post office, mayor's house, sheriff. Are they spoken for? Yes, they're spoken for. Town hall is now in. We got that. And now we have John Boy's left,
Which is a two-story, like,
which is a cool story.
yeah.
Yes. So we could say, so okay, we have these two buildings here. I'm going to take them out
Okay.
for now. I can always get to make new stuff later. That's the beauty of digital art.
Yeah.
Um, so we're going to say that's John Boy's restaurant for now. And now we have Prickly Pear, and we'll make that across the street. Now, Prickly Pear, so the saloon, or we call it the saloon, right?
Sure, either one.
There's a Prickly Pear. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I have an idea for how this is going to be, but
Okay.
leave roughly like that. Okay. Let's see what we got. What else are we missing here? That's the path out to Dry Gulp Gorge. Aunt Betty Vittles. We have her house, and Mitchell's house. So we just have. All right. I will. Oh. That's going to be Aunt Betty's house,
Okay.
and this will be Mitchell's house over here, roughly
Okay.
over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so that's our basic layout. So I mean, she's gonna drive through town. And this thing's already gone.
Right.
We don't know what that is, so that's
Yep.
gone. So we don't have a. So this shot has already changed pretty drastically. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, Dry Gulp is a small place, but you don't have to have everything quite right next to each other, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
you
We
could
could
move the
split
prickly
that.
pear down the road, and then
We could do that.
one thing I would recommend is if you want to throw in that cross street, it'll anchor
Sure.
things a little bit.
Let's do that real quick. No, I'm doing everything by key command, so I'm trying to remember what I learned, and obviously I'm still learning.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. I don't know that we established that, but this is like Blender is extremely new to you. This isn't you've not been using this program for years.
No, I've dabbled with it a little bit,
Mhm.
but it's never been my weapon of choice. That's for sure.
Now Blender is free.
Yes, it's
Okay.
free. Anybody can download it and go to town with it. So it's a wonderful program. Huge community. Very enthusiastic.
I mean, like I
Uh,
feel like what's the catch? I mean, like this seems like a really robust tool to just be giving away.
No, just a whole bunch of people that are just passionate about working on this, and that's about it, really.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Now everything's kind of off here a little bit, but that's my cross street. And if I could probably shrink this guy down a little bit.
I like the idea that you keep it skewed. I think that's way better. You know, rather than having it just like a just 90 degrees orthogonal to Main Street. I like the idea. It creates a nice little bit of I don't know. My words not worky right now, I guess, but hopefully you get the sense that what I'm
Yeah,
shooting
it's
for
not
here.
too orderly.
Yeah, yeah,
You like the chaos of it,
yeah, yeah.
which is a throwback to Chaos Chameleon, the old title,
Aha!
and the Mentor.
Everything comes full circle.
Okay, so yeah, so we do have a cross street now. This is where Calamity is gonna. So again, like we have a couple of shots in here where she's running it past a bunch of different houses. You know, she's gonna come out of here and then run down the street and go down this way. So we're gonna have to have some generic kind of houses to kind of help populate this.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
They're just gonna have to be. They're gonna have to just be not almost less nondescript than Aunt Betty's place, Aunt Betty's Vittles, and Mitchell's house.
I mean, I think the if you did 3 just sort of generic buildings and then just change their colors, then we can make it as densely as we want, right?
Yeah.
And I don't personally. I think keeping it simple is the better way to go overall. If every single house was completely unique, it would be really it would stand out. Yeah.
I'd pull my hair out.
Well, that too.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I think every house has a unique story, which I really love to do, but
sure. Yeah. I mean, and the great thing is, like, over time, as if we have a storyline or have a character that all of a sudden needs another unique house, well, then we add that unique house.
We can plug it in.
Right, but we don't have to do. We've got our initial set of unique structures, which I think is good, and then plenty of room to grow.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, we don't have to have any rules anyway, because as long as our baseline's set up, we can always add more houses and not even bother explaining it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like real life, there's always new subdivisions popping up, especially here in Utah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, the idea of cities getting new buildings is not, it's not a ridiculous concept. So.
But yeah, cool.
Cool. That's very cool. That's really cool. And yeah, so you had that initial tracking shot, wide angle. We've got the geography of the town a little bit. So what are your, just as a curiosity, as a final thought before we wrap up today, what are your next steps?
I'm going to start trying to, I've been trying to conjure up some recipes on how I'm going to texture these buildings with wood panel type of texture. You know, and obviously make the roofs more domed on some of them, angled. And kind of detail them out a little bit farther, and then try to figure out the recipe and how I'm going to do a toon shade to kind of help match up with what I'm doing in anime and make everything kind of flat and toon shaded all together. So a little bit more R&D on that end, but it's going. This is where we're at, and
cool.
We'll keep moving forward.
And then one final question: Are you just going to do the environment in 3D? So obviously you have the purple cube that's representing Calamity. But are you going to build out a 3D model of her and Tinsel as well?
That's the ultimate plan, and of course I could be falling on my face trying to do that. I haven't done 3D, and I did 3D in college, and I haven't gone back to it. So it's been a while, but this my foray back. It still feels pretty much the same as it is back then, but there's more luxuries now, which is nice.
I think one of the nice things about doing a wide shot like this is you could at least build the model out, and you wouldn't have to worry about animating it. You could just build a static object and wouldn't need to rig it or anything.
The intention is anything with tinsel shots are going to be like, I've already been trying to make some tinsel models, but it's not been going well. I'm still kind of in the mode of a lot of swearing.
You're in that phase.
Yeah, so it's not very good for public viewing at this point. But the intention is anytime there's a tinsel shot, she'll be rendered in 3D.
Okay.
And Calamity on top of her when she's riding will be the same thing. And then anytime she's off of Tinsel, then she's right back into Adobe Animate and animating there.
Okay. I mean, I think that you cursing at Blender while you try to model Tinsel is, I mean, a great Patreon bonus. Like, maybe subscribers get access to that video and nobody
Yeah.
else can see
Yeah, maybe I
it.
can set up a Twitch stream so they can see that live. Throwing things at the screen, and
That's
yeah,
right. That's right. Yeah. Only if you're a subscriber, everybody,
must
though.
see
Only if you're a
viewing.
subscriber.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
cool. I mean, that's really exciting. I wasn't even expecting this today, but I mean, already it's great. I just, even if it's just cubes, I don't know about you, but I'm just imagining what the finished product is, and already it's great. I think it's awesome, and if you can pull it off, what a win.
yeah. That's the question.
Not to say that I don't have faith in you. It's just the amount of work versus wanting us to, you wanting to finish producing art and that kind of stuff. I just don't want to make you. I don't want you to feel like you're just in this infinite loop of content creation and never making steps forward.
Well, I'm just glad you have faith in me because sometimes I'm sweating bullets over here.
Yeah.
So far,
God, aren't we all?
forward. But yeah,
Cool, very cool. Well, I think that's really great. I think it's a great stopping point. We're getting up on a half hour anyway, so yeah, we'll just close it out. Thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry we couldn't be live tonight, but we will be back live next week most likely. And in the meantime, don't forget to check out our Patreon site. You can find it at calamityjane.rocks or going directly to Patreon and just searching for Calamity Jane Happy Hour or Happy Hour. Oh God. We're not recording this at happy hour, but clearly I know where my headspace is. Calamity Jane Adventure Hour. You can also find us on Facebook, same thing, Calamity Jane Adventure Hour, YouTube. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and everybody have a good week. And we will see you next Monday.
see you next week, everybody.
All right, bye.